Good afternoon and thank you for keeping it KTN on KTN News Desk, where we bring you news as it happens throughout the week and finally on this Friday.
Right, and my name is Bonney Tunya. On this last day of January 2014, we have a lot in store for you, but first, let's take a look at the highlights. Hundreds of residents of Samburu County face starvation. Walter Barasa extradition. Court dismisses challenge as Barasa could be surrendered to The Hague. And elsewhere in Kitale, 2 students commit suicide after falling out with their parents. That's right, that's what we have in store for you on this Friday afternoon. In this particular bulletin, you are watching KTN News Desk.
My name is Edith Kimani. Let's kick off this bulletin in Samburu, where hundreds of residents in that county are in dire need of relief food as the country's drought situation begins to spread.
Now, the situation has also been worsened by conflict in Samburu North constituency, with Baragoi, Kuwap and Tuum worst hit areas.
According to Samburu County Commissioner Wilfred Nyagwanga, a total of 56,000 residents by last month had been hit by food shortage due to seasonal droughts that is usually experienced in the region, as well as the cattle rustling conflict which led to the displacement of several families.
Samburu East sub-county, hiyo area hakuna manana hata marisho ni shida.
The county commissioner says the government will only supply 1,500 bags of maize and 600 bags of beans in Samburu County. Places affected include northern parts of Samburu County, which is Baragoi, Nachola, Lesirkan, Wasorongai, Kawap, Tum, Barasoloi and Marti, and parts of Samburu East, which include Serolipi, Swari and Nyondo Wasen.
Pia itahitaji wakulima waanze kuangalia kwamba ni kuokoa mifugo kabla area situation yetu kwa mbaya.
Residents are now on the move in search of food, water and pasture for their livestock. Catherine Omwando, KTN.
Still on drought, the government is on high alert in Taita Taveta County that could experience extreme drought. The lack of rains have greatly affected the production of maize and beans in the area and threatens food security in the county's 4 constituencies. According to local authorities, residents may resort to relief food in order to survive. Taita Taveta has in the past been able to produce about 150 bags, while it requires over 300 bags of maize to feed its population.
Shida kubwa hapa ni njaa. Sasa hatuna chakula sasa. Twategemea ikiwa msaada umekuja twasema asante. Lakini kwa sasa shida iko ya chakula. Vile sasa wengine tumekosa mvua, tumekosa mahindi yamekauka. Hatuna chochote.
Wananchi walijitahidi sana kulima na tukawa na matumaini kwamba tutapata chakula wakati chakula mzuri. Lakini kwa bahati mbaya tulikuwa tunategemea wingu moja la mvua tu. Na hilo wingu limepotea, mahindi yamekauka, wananchi wamekosa matumaini. Hivi ninavyozungumza kwamba kuna watu wanalala njaa, kuna watu wanaishi maisha ya shida, maana mategemeo yote ilikuwa ni hii mahindi.
2 pupils of Moruki Primary School in Trans Nzoia County have been found dead in what is believed to be a suicide attempt. The two young men were found dead in their respective homes on Tuesday and Thursday. Elamu Nabangi, a Standard 8 pupil, hung himself on a tree outside his parents' home. The 17-year-old boy left a note behind that suggests that he was being abused by his stepmother. The teenager apparently had to fend for himself and work as a casual laborer in order to pay his school fees. The body of Edwin Simiyu was found floating out inside a borehole hours after he was beaten by his father for allegedly stealing 6,000 shillings from the office of the school's deputy head teacher.
From that sad story in Kitale, let's now take you to Eastleigh, where residents and tenants of that estate in Nairobi are protesting what they term as inconsiderate house owners who construct tall high-rise buildings without elevators. Now, they say the buildings, which go as high as 8 floors in some cases, make access difficult, especially when ferrying water to the top floors.
Eastleigh, a fast-growing estate and business center in the outskirts of Nairobi city. It is characterized by tall commercial buildings, even as investors scramble for space to put up more high-rise buildings to cater for the high demand. Apart from the commercial buildings, many residential buildings have been erected too, with floors ranging from 6 to 8. Although a profitable venture to the entrepreneurs, tenants are complaining of poor essential services like elevators to help access top floors.
Wakati wa kuhama ni shida, wakati wa kuhamia ni shida. Juu stairs hakuna lift. Tunaomba ikuwe Eastleigh ile Eastleigh tulikuwa tunajuaga. Nyumba iwe size.
And as flats are going up quickly, other infrastructure is stagnant. And the pressure on the poor roads and water supply systems here is enormous.
Choo inatakikana, maji kila mahali lazima inatakikana, kila mtu anachukua maji nyingi sana kupandisha.
One health practitioner in the area argues that it is becoming dangerous to stay here.
Lift hakuna kabisa, na mambo haswa wale wanatezeka, wale wagonjwa wa mama ama mtu kama akona asthma.
Now the Eastleigh residents are asking, which building code do the constructors and surveyors here follow? Loft Matambo, KTN.
However, from Eastleigh, the Judges and Magistrates Board has declared 5 magistrates unfit to hold office. The board cites the abuse of office, unexplainable huge bank accounts, misuse of judicial staff by the magistrates, and ultimately incompetence as parameters that failed the magistrates. A total of 25 judicial officers have now been found unsuitable since the commencement of the vetting exercise in August of 2010 to reform the judicial institution in the country. In the latest purge, 11 magistrates have survived receiving a clean bill of health to continue holding office.
The board has vetted a total of 101 officers. So up to now, the board has found 25 judicial officers unsuitable to continue serving in the judiciary. The board has noted an increase in complaints alleging abuse of office by judicial officers. Some judicial officers have used their office and power to harass, intimidate, and misuse staff serving under them. In one instance, a judicial officer engaged a staff member to run his personal errands at his shamba during official working hours. This is deplorable. It is also noted that there is a tendency for magistrates to hear cases involving fellow magistrates serving at the same station. This practice must be discouraged as it affects the perception of justice. Indeed, it enhances perceptions of bias. Justice must not only be done, but must be seen to be done.
Let's now have a look at politics. And a group of Kisumu youth and businessmen who organized a procession in support of the government last week have come out to defend themselves against claims by ODM officials that the demo was funded by government. The youth, who also invited President Uhuru Kenyatta to tour the Nyanza region and establish close links with residents for political and business purposes, say their drive was self-funded and not linked to any political party. The development comes as former Prime Minister Raila Odinga struggles to maintain unity within ODM ahead of internal elections that will take place in February. So far, Nyanza leaders have been pressured into foregoing their ambitions, causing discontent within the party rank and file.
Nobody funded us, no politician. We did it as youth of Kisumu, which our main agenda was development. We want to reconcile the Kisumu youths towards development.
We are not going to be people who are going to be goons again, because the political dynamics are changing, and we must also change with the development dynamics. The new development dynamics, that the new provision that this government is giving for the youth. We want to be part of the 30% of the national tenders.
Nakuru County Governor Kinuthia Mbogwa says the lack of infrastructure, especially classrooms in the country, has been the greatest challenge to education in Nakuru County. Speaking at a meeting with education stakeholders where 5 bright students from poor backgrounds benefited from secondary school scholarships offered by a local bank in conjunction with the county government, Kinuthia called on other county leaders to join hands in enhancing education in the county. Kinuthia asked aid partners in the county to sponsor children from poor backgrounds in order to improve performance of the county nationally.
They are made of mud, some of them do not have roof, and it becomes very difficult for children to learn under such circumstances. We are going to have a budgetary allocation of no less than 200 million for the ECD, that is the early childhood, which means we are going to target a number of schools which we are going to ensure that they have modern ECD classrooms, because that is the starting point.
Right, and coming up also in this particular bulletin, you are aware of the journalist Walter Barasa, who is supposed to appear at The Hague. We do understand that it's all systems go. He is actually heading to The Hague finally, but I guess we have that report in the other side of the break.
Well, that's coming up shortly, so do stay tuned. Welcome back to KTN News Desk. We're glad you're still watching. Now, journalist Walter Barasa now faces extradition to the International Criminal Court at The Hague in the Netherlands after losing an attempt to block his extradition.
Barasa's application challenging his warrant ordered by Cabinet Secretary for Interior Joseph Olelenku has been dismissed at the High Court.
Justice Richard Mwongo stated in his judgment that the Rome Statute is part of Kenyan law and therefore Kenya must cooperate.
The judge added that the petitioner did not prove that it was unconstitutional to surrender him to The Hague and that the issues raised by the petitioner are premature at this stage.
Barasa has immediately made an application to appeal against the judgment, but he faces charges of witness tampering in the ongoing Deputy President William Ruto and Joshua Arap Sang case.
Further, he asserted that there was no legal requirement that the petitioner was arraigned in court.
Right, in that particular piece of news regarding the ICC case just comes on the back of a decision by the court president Chile Eboye Suji to opt out of the President Uhuru Kenyatta's case, and he has since been replaced by Jeffrey Henderson. For more details on this story, check out our website, that is standardmedia.co.ke. Deputy President William Ruto this morning chaired the second Intergovernmental Budget and Economic Council meeting held at the Kenya School of Government. Among the issues the forum will address is the county budgetary allocations that the Governor Council continues to term as little.
The success of devolution must be based on a firm foundation of competent, qualified, well-trained personnel. In that effort, the Ministry of Devolution has developed a framework that will begin the training of personnel in county treasuries to assist county governments in developing their budgets so that we eliminate the challenges that we had earlier of trying to get balanced budgets and ensuring that we are in tandem and we are in consonance with the provisions of the law.
Right, are you a believer?
What do you think, Tunya?
I'm just checking.
Do you think it's...
I mean, all those people flashing the cameras were not 19.
No, well, you don't know that. Maybe Canadians who are 19 are strikingly different from the 19-year-olds here. Well,
and he sings like a girl, in a nice way,
Baby.
Yeah, I know, right?
Baby. Okay, from singing, let's give you the Did You Know fact of the day. Did you know, this one is quite useful. The full moon always rises at sunset. The new moon always rises at sunrise. And then the first quarter, or what we know as the half moon, rises at noon, and the last quarter rises at midnight.
Good to know.
Good to know. Right. Well, I hope it's useful information for you as you close this month. They call it January.
Well, it's the 76th day of January, just the end of January.
76th
so I mean,
day?
Yeah, it's been long enough.
All right, this is where we wind up KTN News Desk. Thank you for joining us. My name is Edith Kimani. Have a fantastic weekend ahead.
My name is Bonney Tunya. I'll see you again in the evening for business, but have yourselves a great weekend.